All right, everybody, welcome. We're late because of me. Oh, I forgot. I've got to make this slightly minimized. Sorry. Also, that I have to. Let me make sure this one's slightly minimized. It's the we've talked about the Discord thing. Yeah. I will give the TLDR while we're late to the stream here. For if those of you who are joining us live, if you're joining us later on YouTube, you're not affected by this. Yeah. I was tasked with picking up dinner. It went wrong on all accounts. But I got dinner. I just haven't eaten yet, so I might snack while we're here. Because I would have theoretically been back and had some time to eat before I went live, if everything went right. Anyway, we got some interesting topics today. Not a lot. It's kind of a quiet week, but I feel like all the topics are relatively interesting ones. I think that's the other thing too, is like everything that stood out to me as a good topic was pretty interesting overall. So we'll dive into it. You know what? I think I can kind of say I am glad this week is over. It's been such a busy week in so many ways, for me at least. How do you feel about it, Worm? Do you think this would have been like considered a busy week for you?
I think it was. No, I think it was kind of busy and like a little bit. Like I had to catch up from the fact that I took some days off last week. But then after that, there really wasn't much to do. And then I had to, Thursday was super busy.
Yeah.
But then after that, I didn't have much to do. So it's actually been pretty chill outside of like 2 days.
It was like an up and down for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand that. It just ended up being for me like
Which I actually vastly prefer, because like I'm actually someone who can get most of what I need to get done in like a day or two, and then it's all like cool and actually focus on other things. And I just really wish I could do that with work without having to be there at 9 to 5. Anyway, sorry, that was a tangent.
Yeah. No, it was my Tuesdays ended up busy because I was helping some people, family out, and then like Thanksgiving ended up a little crazier than I thought. And then I mean, like yesterday, yeah, it was that kind of on and off again of am I going to go see my grandmother or I'm not, and then it was a lot more than I thought it was going to be, even going to see my grandmother.
Yeah.
But hey, her Christmas tree set up, which is very nice, so she's ready for the holidays. Is it perfect? No, we didn't. We weren't able to find a topper for her tree. Who knows where it went? But
that is odd.
It's like we could find where all the balls were that someone put away last year, but the topper, who knows where it is? Well, maybe get her another one. I said, hey, we'll probably visit her before Christmas. We can get her a topper. At least she'll have that for the holidays. But yeah, no. Apparently this week wasn't a lot of tabletop related stuff, but we can dive in. Why don't we do that? Why don't we just dive in, get some topics? We can always get some more chatting in as we go. So this is a very interesting one. Hi, Magic. Remember we talked about the Monster Hunter Secret Lair? They canceled it.
Yeah. Oh.
So, this is something that we wouldn't have realized, but apparently, like, I don't know about Monster Hunter. That's the first thing I'm going to say. You knew a little bit about
Got a link?
I'll give this thing here. I think here's the link to the article that Wizards put out. But I think the professor at Tulane College, he did a very good video on it too, and I would recommend seeing his that kind of breaks down, because he had put together the financial breakdown of the cards, and it was interesting to see all of the cards that were in there were cheap. There were very few expensive cards. Like if you were giving like it matches the value that you're buying the pack for, and there's just financial value. Remember, it's one of the three things that you go by for buying these things. Financial value. Do I think the cards are really cool? Or are these like that combo of I like the art, but also I use this a lot kind of thing? So it's like, do I really like, what the card's representing? It's Monster Hunter. Am I really a big fan of that? Or is like, oh, hey, maybe I want this version of the card for Monster Hunter, maybe I use this card in my decks, so it's a little bit more value to me, so it's like it's that combination of personal feelings that can also extend to the card might be valuable personally, but if it mentions one of those three things, you can buy these things. But when it came to the first one, which honestly can be a pretty major one. Yeah, like I think only one of the drops actually met financial value. Like that you would be buying these cards for its value, which normally
Okay.
on reprints like this, you usually don't want like it to match it. You want to exceed it, for be a good one. That you're getting this for a little cheaper than you would on the secondary market, because we want the secondary market not to stay the same. We want it to go down because the secondary market is not good usually. In many ways, it's that kind of juxtaposition.
That's so interesting because I have such a different philosophy for how these secret layers should be. Like, I mean, I get that. I actually think it's more about them actually being useful. And to be fair, cards that are more expensive tend to be more useful.
Yeah.
So that is a thing. But like, in my opinion, it's like I want to use these cards if I buy them. However,
I think that was what I was trying to say with the third one. It was value, art / property, and then use. I think I do agree on that one. Those are like the three things you should look at when you're thinking about buying these. And apparently, I think that's the thing is weren't valuable. As me as not knowing Monster Hunter, apparently a lot more people that know both Monster Hunter and Magic were saying like, yeah, no, these cards here, they feel like they're just randomly selected with these things from Monster Hunter. And then
that makes sense.
I
honestly see, the problem is I don't know Magic the Gathering very well, so I couldn't tell you if they were. I know Monster Hunter, but not Magic, so it's kind of like, I couldn't tell you if they were good selections because I don't know the other side.
And then like mechanically they don't match the creatures, and then the other one was a lot of the cards
seem to be saying that that's the main reason they pulled it, but I think it was probably a multitude.
It was a multitude because also like when you look at the card selection, a lot of them didn't tend to see play in a lot of major places.
Yeah, okay. See, and that's kind of the thing I'd like to that is important.
There were a couple of cards that like
can be actually made into good decks.
That was something that like I did like the breakdown in the professor's video, that he was saying like, like some of these cards he was able to say like, this year sees some play in like a lot of like kitchen table commander, which is kind of to say like it's not unused of in a lot of people's commander decks, because again you can see those online in like Moxfield and stuff like that. Like a lot of more casual decks you'll see some of these cards thrown into. But that's kind of one of those things, is they're just like, there's a cool extra in a casual deck. If it's there, that's not really much to say. That's the thing about Commander. A lot of just random cards do end up in Commander, so you can't really like argue against that. People make weird Commander decks for fun, and they oftentimes work. So yeah. So this was like, because
Commander, from what I understand, it is kind of a crapshoot no matter what.
it's the kitchen table. It's the
kitchen sink.
The kitchen sink, kind of Magic in a lot of ways. And again, because it is made to be a multiplayer format, that does help it to be random. Yeah. Again, you having the really good, well-made deck that's like really well designed, you're gonna have a higher chance of winning, but crapshoot McGee over there could just all of a sudden run away with things and do like some kind of weird combo that you can't do anything about.
Yep.
I think the best way to describe it was the best example was again, this is Tolarian College, because I like their episodes of Shuffle Up and Play, which is them playing Magic. Someone brought three people brought actual decks, and then one person bought a theme deck, which was all the cards have orb pictures on them. That was the theme of the deck. And when you're making a deck of orbs, that's not going to be good. He got close to winning. The orb deck barely didn't win. And I'm going to say that's the kind of thing that when you talk about Commander, it had a chance to win. The shit weird orb deck had a chance to win. So yeah, that's kind of, but anyway. So like this failed on all three accounts, basically is the easiest way to say it. Wasn't great for Monster Hunter, wasn't great financially, and wasn't really cards you really see play anywhere. The trifecta. But at least...
Okay, I'm actually looking at some of these, and like basically what they look like doesn't seem to actually like indicate anything about the monster. They seem to be almost picked entirely off like a title, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And
like Swoop is Kushala Daora's Fury, but
Mhm.
it's all like, return. It seems like that's the reason it was picked because Swoop. You know, Tooth
Mhm.
and Nail was, you know, even though like so. Yeah,
I think the one that
I
was just
feel
like
like
the first one was kind of the best one because it's like you can argue it, but as soon as you got to the hunters and the actual monsters, those felt a little random a lot more, I think, you know.
mhm.
But yeah, no, it was a mess, but it's good that they've taken a step back and are going to put something out next year. I don't know what it's going to be, but it has to be better than this. Also, it seems like
Yeah, no, it really does feel like they mostly pick them for the names, like Nezera Primal Tide was Legaia Chris, Lord of the Seas, and it's
Mhm.
just like, but it doesn't actually seem to have anything to do with, the actual like abilities to do with the monster, you know?
yeah, I think there's certain things that like you're never going to match something perfectly, but usually
No,
for
of
reskins,
course
you
not.
want something that's close enough. And I feel like they weren't even aiming for close enough for some of these, and I think that's why it was bad.
Again, I think they were basically aiming for titles and names.
Yeah. So it kind of just ended up a mess that way with this. But there's only one of the two things that I think was an interesting thing related to Magic here. And here's the other article I want to talk about because this is something that's minor but indicative of the changes that's going in on Magic. That post there. You were trying not to show up there for a second. Just do that.
They took that on their page from last week, so I'd actually like find a new someone else who posted all the information.
I'm sure, yeah, to find the page now. But here's the other article, and it's something that like this has been something that's been going on for like well over a decade, and it's going away now. Basically, at your retailers, your in-person places, if you bought a box, you get a promo card. This has been going for quite a long time. They say it launched in Born of the Gods, but I swear, having done a lot of like Magic history videos, it's been well over a decade that Buy a Box has been going on. Because I swear, like talking about promos, it's been going on since like honestly very long ago. I don't even know how long at this point in time because like I would have to go back in all my videos and see where it's been. But this is like in something that's been a staple of like a set of promos that like you bought a thing, you get a promo, and I guess
Wait,
like
you said Magic 2010 was the first one.
they said Born of the Gods, which is a Theros set in the article here.
So I mean, looking at list of Buy a Box promos, 2009 is the first year that they showed one.
Yeah, I think that is one of the earliest ones.
Which is Honor of the Pure was their promo for that one, and
yeah. So 2009 would have been the first one here. And that's
let's see what set this is.
16 years it's been going.
Yeah.
A long time. So it's just been something that's been like an important part of the entire thing, I think. And it has been like an encouragement.
Magic 2010 is the name of the set. Okay, I was confused for a second.
It was one of the core sets, and they've had stupid names for the core sets always. You know? It was M10, basically.
Yeah.
They do want to make other promotions in place of it, but I'm going to say this here. Most of the things they've replaced over the last couple of years that they have replaced with something, they replaced it with something worse. Like they replaced collector's boost or draft boosters and collector's boosters with play boosters, which are worse than both of them. It was annoying to have.
Born of the Gods was like not the first. there were a bunch before that, like even Theros.
Mhm.
Theros, yeah. So Magic 210 was like basically it was going on for 5 years longer than they thought it would. Than they
Mhm.
said it was in this.
And we're gonna finish up with the Lauren one, which is the first set next year. So that's the last time we're gonna see it. And they have them for collector's boosters. Cool. I mean, like a collector's boosters version of it. Again, they're promo cards. Sometimes you have to do something. If they had a special one for collector's boosters, I didn't mind that. I wasn't gonna get that, but I didn't mind that. I'm not buying any collector's boosters. You can have a fancy buy a box with those.
Why do I feel like they're gonna do something to make it even more predatory and FOMO? Like, oh, if you buy a box, then you get a special pack which might contain a promo.
Yeah. You get a sample pack of something. Like, there are a couple places where they've had like these collector they call them collector booster sample packs, and they're just shit. They're every time you see them and you like actually open them, they're shit, and they're just like nothing. They're just weird. It's like it's kind of like this. They just constantly replace stuff with worse versions of them, and that's why I'm like,
yeah, like when they replaced the was it the collector booster with the or like they replaced the different like boosters
booster
like
the play booster that I have now.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one. Didn't they replace collectors and play boosters with the draft and draft boosters with the play booster? Like they're just like, oh, we're gonna do one now.
Mm-hmm. Now they kept the like expensive collectors, but there was like that in between collector booster that they had. So now it's just the super premium collectors boosters that you can get, or the play boosters, which it's like that's the entire thing is. Why did you need two versions of collector boosters either? Two. They did that for a while. I forgot about that until this is we talked about this now. It's just so bad. It's like every discussion is just so bad. So, I mean, like, I understand that probably nowadays there is a lot more ordering online. I understand that. Not also because of Wizards. But there was always something about going to the local store and picking up something, you know? And I kind of feel bad about all this, too. Because, like, I didn't get a lot of buy a box promos, but I liked when I could get one.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Anyway. So there's the mess of Magic this week. Completely... Again, that was one of those things. Is us talking about Monster Hunter, I could kind of see it didn't look good. I didn't know how bad it was. You know, it's like, this doesn't look great, but this doesn't look the worst it could be. I thought to myself. Turns out I was wrong.
I still don't think it's... Again, so then again, this is my opinion. I'm like, they look... Like, I can see why, like, the abilities didn't match. Like, I've read card descriptions in the past where it's like, okay, this lightning creature does, like, a lightning thing.
Yeah.
Or, you know, but it's like, in this one, it's like, oh, no, they literally just did, like, a water creature with abilities that don't match what this creature can do at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I get it. I thought the art was cool. If the cards weren't, like, all that useful, though, that's another problem. So, yeah. It's kind of like, at a glance, it was fine, but... Which is probably, you know, about the amount of thought that was put into it. So
I think that's what it was. It was the same for me as someone that doesn't know Monster Hunter but knows Magic cards. It's like, at a glance, none of those cards looked bad. But it's me knowing very few of all the bajillion Magic cards that are out there to know, oh, this one isn't necessarily bad, but there's something that does something slightly better than it, or something like that. Or this one here has niche play, or something like that. I don't always know that. You know, like, it's sort of like Tooth and Nail. It's not very expensive. It's okay. But it's sort of like, I remember when that was a lot better. But also, I remember that was probably back when it was, like, in Standard. Me, like, having any experience with Standard. But, alright. So, we can move on, though, to our second topic here, which it looks like, for the 40K RPG, which is being done by, of course, I think it's the same people that always does it here, but I just want to make sure to confirm it here. I'll get the thing. Oh, it's Cubicle 7.
I was like, I was like trying to remember their name, and my brain was caught on Crucible
Yeah.
rather than Cubicle.
I just wanted to make sure because I think they're the ones that do most of them. But they're going to be doing a bunch of Mechanicus books, which is kind of neat. Again, this is kind of it's a side of it with the tech priests and stuff that they're very weird and unusual, and I think adding into the RPG a lot of like play of that kind of thing, because I think like I feel like from looking at the RPG books, they traditionally tended to focus on things like you play some Space Marines, or you play some guards, or something like that, you know, or guardsmen.
Or you play the Inquisition.
Yeah, or you play the Inquisition.
Inquisition.
Yeah. Well, the tech priests are just, because I feel like they are that kind of weird side kind of thing, being like they are technically mechanics, but like, you know.
Well, they're in almost every group. They're like, it's kind of like how you have an IT department in every company, even if the company sells cars versus sells, toothbrushes. So it's like, and that's kind of why it's like, I can see why they do kind of have a central organization to a degree, but, you know, outside of like, because there are, you know, you could argue tech companies as well that like kind of would have a lot more of them.
I think the joke about it is they're trying their best to become less and less human, but the thing that all of them love is praise. I think someone said that about them. They're just seeming to be like, look, I'm doing my job the best. Love me.
Yeah. So yeah, basically they're IT support. Got it.
That is IT support. Look, guys, I'm really trying my best here. Just keep up with me.
Everyone hates me when something goes wrong, and nobody praises me when it's fixed.
Yeah. Again, it's kind of like an interesting kind of thing here. It might end up being that you'd probably use it more for GM stuff, but I assume there'll probably be rules within this that like if a player really wants to play one, you know. But I assume like it's like one of those.
I also assume there's probably going to be rules for just augmentations and stuff, for like minor augmentations, which might be cool because I know there's, you know, prosthetics and stuff.
Yeah, and I think this is the point in time where we get a lot of that, because even outside the tech priests, you kind of often see sometimes like, you know, inquisitors or like officers amongst the guardsmen will have kind of like prosthetics and stuff like that, because hey, maybe they could regrow something, maybe they just had to get a piece chunked on there after they went through some kind of shit, you know. I mean, Space Marines just are like half machine anyway, you know, but in a lot of ways. A lot of those are also organic, just the extra organs they shove into those poor people to make them super soldiers.
Gotta love that idea that shoving more organs into you makes you better.
Well, look, you know, they made them like, you know, 7-8 foot tall. They had more space.
That is not how that works. There's a reason whales have basically all the same organs as a people.
Don't let the whales know.
don't let the whale. Don't let the people know. Don't let the whales know.
Look, if they know they can get rid of some of this stuff and just add in more stuff, you know, like the new organs, they're gonna do it. This damn whales. You're welcome. But yeah, no, I'm really glad to see these kind of things. I've been glad to kind of see that Cubicle 7 is doing a lot to like add a lot to the Warhammer RPGs. I think that's one of those things is, as much as I enjoy learning about the Warhammer world, for me, I'm never going to pick up the miniatures game. I'm lying. Not that I wouldn't enjoy playing it probably, but I've never been big on miniatures games. I'm kind of like, meh. And also, like, it's expensive.
I want to play the miniatures game, but I'm never going to buy, like, the super expensive stuff. I'll probably get into 3D printing and go that route.
That's if, like, a friend of mine was like, do you want to try it with, like, an army or something? It's like, it's not like I wouldn't try it, but it's, like, it's not something I'd definitely get into. But on the other hand,
I like the idea of a war game. I've never actually played a war game before, and it does sound like fun.
All my attempts to, like, do some kind of war game related stuff for in anything, usually are usually related to like adding a war game layer to a TTRPG. Just doesn't go well. Though there have been some.
I mean, the problem is I'm also one of the problems though is I'm actually really bad at unconstrained tactic games. Like I can do pretty well at like a tactical video game with very clear rules, but the moment it gets a little bit too like freeform, I start to have issues.
But yeah, but I definitely would want to at some point in time like kind of dive in and pick up like one of the Warhammer TTRPGs, like or try to play one of those. That seems like it would be fun. And there are probably also a couple of video games I would play.
Yep.
If a group of people basically went to me and said like, "Hey, you've never played it, but you technically own it. Do you want to play it?" Darktide. I would definitely be like, "Sure." I think I own Darktide.
I think I own Darktide too.
Yeah, I think it came with. It did. I think it came with a one of the humbles for me.
I need to install a bunch of those.
Yes. I try to remember to like at least add them in every couple of months because I'm kind of bad like that. Because it's like every couple of months I'll be looking like, oh hey, I have that game now. It was on my wish list. You know, it's like I keep seeing that. You know, and that's kind of why I've stuck with the humble monthly because you know, sure, you know, it's like when over the course of the year, I get like honestly save $100 on games. It's not a lot, but it's something. You know, it's these games that I had on my wish list and I kind of wanted to get, but I just, you know, just didn't have the extra spending for it or something, or maybe it wasn't on sale or something, you know, so they show up. And I did have Dark Dog on my wish list because, you know, I did enjoy the little bits of Left 4 Dead I played. I didn't do a lot of it, but I did a little bit of it. And it's kind of like that, but also kind of its own thing, you know? So, anyway. It's great. But, yeah. Mechanicus books and stuff coming out soon. So, yeah. Cool. So, I really wanted to talk about this because there's information here that I'm just like, really? So, the D&D MMORPG, which I'm not going to lie, I remember was a thing as soon as I heard it mentioned, but I also had forgotten it was a thing up until recently, aka when they mentioned it. Apparently...
Oh, Neverwinter. Okay, yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, Neverwinter, the online one. I forgot all about it. Apparently, this is the 30-second free-to-play module that's coming out for it. That's a lot of support.
What is strange to me is that it's still ongoing. I didn't actually realize that.
That's another thing, too. I'm like, this is still here and ongoing?
Oh my gosh. Look at those graphics. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like early 2000s graphics.
Mm-hmm. How old is this now? Let's find out. I'm going to Google it. I'm at
2013.
Ooh. Hey. 15 years old. Or sorry, not 15, 12 years old. Somewhere I went to 15. I think I was, because we were talking about the Magic one and it was very long too, and I think I was thinking about that, you know, it was like 16 years. Mm-hmm. But yeah, damn. Still 12 years old now. Well, 12 and a half at this point, actually. That is, honestly, like, when you would talk about something like Warcraft, World of Warcraft, that's really the only MMO I would think would have staying power because it was the original real maker of the not that there wasn't other MMOs, but it defined the MMO genre in many ways. So like, when someone say, "Oh, Warcraft's still around and doing some things," I'd be like, "Okay, cool, makes sense." You know, but there's a lot of these other ones that were from over the last couple of decades that I'm like, they're still around. Some of them are definitely like, I understand more modern because it'd be like Elder Scrolls Online or Final Fantasy XIV, where they have these big fanfares. And this one is like, it's still around and doing things. It just doesn't. This is the fanfare we get. Hey, we've released our 30-second pack, free stuff. You can enjoy it. Cool. Okay. Bye. Man, I don't know. Yeah, so it's Red Harvest Part 2, The Soul Collector.
Yeah, and it involves Saztam.
The good old necromancer that I guess is now the
Necromancer
leader
Lich.
of the Red Wizards, but
He has been for a while. That's a 2E thing.
no, he was never. He was one of the leaders of the Red Wizards, but up until 4E, he was part of a council of leaders of them. He wasn't, but he also kind of controlled it from the shadows. But he
He was the
that version
oh,
of him.
right. No, well, that's the thing. I think in second edition he corrupted all of his fellow council members to basically be his pawns.
But it was always a thing that like it wasn't in the open. He didn't want to rule in the open, and then in 5e they're like, nah, he wants to rule in the open. He's out in the open. He now controls the Red Wizards, and it felt like they just changed a lot of it because it was like, yes, he technically controlled the council, but there was some things that he couldn't do with it. He wasn't perfectly in charge, and he was really kind of the power behind the council in a lot of ways. He was on the face in there, but also not, and it was like a kind of like it was a weird thing to kind of transfer that around. It felt like, again, maybe that had a good story behind it, but I never looked into it. But it just felt like on the surface, as soon as they said it, it was like, that's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
I mean,
it's kind of like God or something. I guess he's trying to follow in Becca's footsteps.
Yes. Yeah. So like, yeah, because I feel like him corrupting the council was a thing that happened in like the 2E versions of stuff.
It could have
back then.
But they also
I just don't think. Yeah, like, but that's a good point you made, where it's all like he corrupted the council, he didn't take over the council.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd have to look at the timelines for that.
Yeah. Hi, Saztam. I didn't know about you. We'll see about that. After the War of the Zulkars, he reigned as the Regent.
Never mind. Okay. I just went and looked it up. Apparently, Saztam wasn't in 2E, so that doesn't. I'm wrong. I could have sworn he was. Saztam first appeared in 3E, and that's when he did his weird stuff. So the Red Wizards, yeah, okay, in 2E were never a thing with him.
Okay, so it does seem as though I did miss some things, because it looks like this was 4E that they did the War of the Zulkirs.
Okay.
And then they just made Saztam. I guess when the war was going on, and the result of that was that Saztam won.
Yeah.
Again, it's like one of those things that's like, it feels a little weird, but because like also like, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the weird shit that happens in the Faerun / Forgotten Realms like timeline confuse the shit out of me sometimes, because there are so many weird super world-ending events that are very unusual that I'm like, and they keep happening, like 2 times of Troubles, an entire dragony kind of shit thing that happened. These are all storylines that did happen, and there's more of them, and they keep happening. Oh, the planet merged with another one that had an entire other continent, and then it unmerged with that, but also the continent kind of stayed behind, and it was like, what the fuck's going on?
So, okay, here's the thing about 4E and that whole merged continent thing. As far as I know, it's not that it like unmerged as much as it was just retconned and never happened. But then some of the stuff they did for 4E stuck around, even though that didn't happen.
So, like, half happened?
I mean, like, some of the storylines happened, but they, like, got rid of the whole, like, merging thing and the apocalypse stuff. But then some of the events happened, is basically how it went, if I recall.
But it's just like there's too many apocalyptic things happening in it. It's like, I'm not gonna lie.
I think they could really... I mean, we talked about this with Pathfinder, like, the same kind of issue. At least Pathfinder, like, they did do that originally, but at least they took a step back and made a lot more local things for their more current adventure paths. And they're also trying to expand their world so that way it can happen all over the world and not all in one place.
It also feels like, as much as these were, like, threats to the globe in a storyline, they never were like a big event. Like the closest thing to like an actually big shattering event was God's Reign. Like that's a big shakeup of events, you know, which I felt like they did pretty decently, you know. It has had some effects, but it hasn't like crushed or destroyed everything to reset it in a lot of ways. I think that's kind of what it is. So it's a big shakeup without being like stupid. And I feel like that's kind of where the direction they kind of went a lot of times with a lot of Forgotten Realms kind of storylines. So it's sort of like, that's why like, I'm like, okay, Saztam, you're there. Cool. Great. Whatever. It's just, I feel like they do handle it badly in comparison in a lot of ways. But so anyway, yeah, so stopping his ascendancy in the Red Harvest Part 2 Soul Collector. A new adventure zone, a new trial, and a bunch of returning in-game events. So I assume that what that means is they probably cycle out between all these events, in-game events, or like stuff like that, or something kind of things. I don't know.
Yeah.
But cool. I'm glad it's still being supported. 32 modules in. That's the thing I can say. It's like, you're 32 modules in. Damn. Impressive.
Yep. Yeah, to be fair, second edition did actually have things all over the place. I mean, they had the Mastica setting, which was basically the Americas. Then they had, which was kind of racist, but you know, at least they had it. And then you have, honestly, whatever. Then you had like, you know, you had the old world, which was Egypt. Then you had like Thay is like not quite the Sword Coast. Thay is kind of nearby, but not part of it. And then they have the Sword Coast and stuff. So they actually like in 2E, they actually had a good chunk of Forgotten Realm. Like they didn't all stick, and it kind of was like looking back. Like Greyhawk was one thing, but Forgotten Realms they actually had a lot more from what I could tell, based on a glance for 2E.
I think the thing about like 2E did a lot
like
of
their most popular setting, even if it wasn't like the main one, because Greyhawk kind of was the main one.
2E did a good job of establishing a lot of stories and areas very well. I think that's the one thing that like people don't think about when it comes to second edition AD&D and that entire group of everything that was in the AD&D second edition era. There were so many very well-developed worlds, and Wizards tended to forget about a lot of that stuff right away. They kept like the core of a lot of things, but they like there's one of those things about Wizards that I dislike from the beginning, because if you look at it, they got rid of a lot of the ongoing storylines, which there was actually a lot of
Egypt
ongoing
was Old
narrative.
Empire, not Old World. Sorry, I just wanted to correct that.
Yeah, but there was a lot of like ongoing storylines that existed, which they half kept around or ignored, you know.
I mean, the whole thing where in 2E, like after the wars between the gods, there was like a literal, like, there were just areas that like where magic didn't exist, and like there were a lot of people who went to those places because they were all like, oh cool, we don't have to worry about wizards being dicks and power and throwing their power around.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of like, that's kind of cool. Did that ever come up in future editions? No, because it's basically like when a god died in an area, it just destroyed the magic in the area. So when the gods were on Earth killing each other, like there just became a number of pockets that were like where magic couldn't function.
All the major Ravenloft storylines, the major Dark Sun storylines, there are them.
I mean,
you know,
I would argue that Ravenloft was probably the most supported non-Sword Coast thing they did after in 5e, but that's also not saying a lot because they did like 2 books like on it rather than 1.
I will agree, they did like 2 books of it, and the books are mixed bag. It's the way I describe it is they're revisiting a lot of those dark realms, but they're also either rewriting them in weird ways or basically choosing a different type of horror to theme that realm off of. Sometimes it's the same.
Yeah.
Like honestly speaking, I think they did Strahd pretty decently. He's like the only one that I can point out that he did decently. And I also think the original ones they did were pretty well done. But there's the word there. Original. When they either took inspiration or made a version of the newer stuff, a lot of times it was not done well. Because it was like, we're doing this type of horror now. And we're like changing the story like unnecessary in weird ways sometimes. Like, I'm not gonna lie, second edition has its issues. Some of that stuff probably needs to be rewritten.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. So running the game for someone who had played in a 2E Strahd game, he was actually pleasantly surprised, and unlike he was happy that they changed things, because that means he didn't know everything that was gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll read that kind of stuff.
So in a way, some people are like, "Oh, it's not faithful to my memory." It's like, well, in some ways, that's actually a good thing, because that means you can't metagame to hell and back.
My entire thing is, if you're gonna change it, make it something completely new, and don't like piggyback partially on the old stuff. A good example would be.
I disagree to an extent, but
well, the thing is,
sorry, finish.
I'll give an example of what I don't like. In a way, I both like this and don't like this. So, the Sea of Sorrows has a Dark Lord. That's like the kind of ocean which kind of exists between the Dark Realms, and you can kind of connect to it, but also can't. It was a lot more different in the old Ravenloft, which I'm actually fine with all the Dark Realms being a lot more split up. I think that's cool. It's fine. Also, Aslan Rex did a lot of shit to like fuck up Ravenloft, so in the Dark Realms. So that could just be it. Anyway, the old version was Haunted Sailor. Okay, cool. He was a Haunted Whaler. I'm gonna say, kind of dumb. But basically, they took the same name, changed him from Pieter to Pietra, and made a pirate version of the person. So changed gender and name, and the other new character is a lot cooler, I'm going to say. But they don't acknowledge the old one and have them have the same name, mostly. It's the same last name, but they don't acknowledge the old one. Why does it make him a new person? I like the new one better. Sometimes I don't like the new one as much, or they kind of like a too different, you know? But this is a case where I'm like, the new one's cooler. Just make them different. Why do they have to have, basically, go from Pieter to Pietra, whatever the last name is, I can't remember off the top of my head, so that you think about the old one, but you don't talk about the old one.
It sounds like they just did a gender swap to be more inclusive.
It feels like that a little bit when I think... again...
Basically what you described is exactly what they do. Like, that's the kind of thing. Like, that's cool.
But I'm like...
But, like
I like
fine
the...
to a degree.
Well, the gender swap wasn't my problem. It's the... Why is it... By just gender swapping it and keeping it still, in a way, related to the old one, you're hooking it to that. And if you're going to do something cooler and better, this, like, cool pirate chick that was, you know, in a lot of ways, darker than Whaler Dude and had a better story than Whaler Dude, actually separate them off. Make it someone new. I don't know why they made it the same.
I kind of feel like they just took inspiration from the old and did do their own thing while kind of keeping the person in the same spot.
This is what they did.
But gender...
Well, I was going to say, this is kind of what they did in 4th edition Dark Sun a lot, is they kind of took inspiration from the old stuff and then just changed little things here and there to do their own version of things, which is not necessarily bad, but, like, a lot of it is just weirdly mixed bag on how well it's written. Like, Pirate Chick, better because the Whaler guy kind of was stupid. But, like, there are other examples, which I can't remember off the top of my head, where the characters are very different, and both of them are very valid. And I think it's one of those things. The Ghost Whaler, kind of stupid. There are other ones where I'm like, that guy's really cool and has, like, it's kind of like maybe like a psychological horror, and they changed it from, like, psychological horror to body horror. You know, I'm like, why? You could have had, like, a psychological horror Dark Lord. And, you know, you still have them either the same name or, like, a similar name. You know, it just felt like...
I feel like there's probably a lot of stuff going on in the background. Definitely they tried to be more inclusive. Like, I guarantee the Pieter to Pietra was probably just dead. They wanted to not make every Dark Lord a male, which it probably was in the past.
No, there were plenty of females, but a lot of them weren't very well written.
That's fair. Probably hypersexualized knowing Tui. Knowing that time period.
It's a weird mixed bag of shit, man.
Yeah,
Sometimes...
but like, anyway, like, I don't know. It doesn't bother me as much when things are similar but different. Like, I feel like everything, like, even like that kind of stuff. It's like I don't get it's like, cool. If you don't like it, then put in the old person, and like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's I think it's less that I don't mind both versions existing too. It's just I kind of like it's again, I question why they had to be the same name to a degree. And also sort of like for me, it's more indicative of Wizards, and I guess I've been feeling it more modern Wizards than I guess I would have felt it probably like 5 years ago, even 10 years ago, I don't trust them that they're just like, getting rid of stuff because they just don't care or they just don't want to bother with it. Unfortunately, when they're doing Ravenloft's a very dark themed area. It's horror themed. You're going to deal with a lot of like really terrible things. You're not going to dive deep into it. It's very easy just to say pirate bad, Granted, the whaler guy was technically an allegory for Captain Ahab, which, I don't think they really wanted to do anymore because, whaling bad / who knows Moby Dick as much anymore. Sorry, Moby Dick.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
yeah,
it's
the idea of pirates are a lot more common, like because of the Pirates of the Caribbean and that kind of stuff. So pirates are kind of a lot more.
And you can see like, brutal pirate lady that went a little too far in her, ways that she treated her prisoners and stuff like that, being driven as a Dark Lord, stuff like that. It's just
anyway.
Hey, I got a little off topic here, but it's just a thing of like, I never feel like Wizards knows what it wants to do with AD&D stuff, and it sometimes does stuff right, and sometimes it doesn't, and like when it doesn't do it, it does it in like weird ways sometimes.
Here's the thing, like, I get the need to change a lot of the stuff. I mean, like I mentioned, like if they wanted to revisit Mastica, they'd have to probably start over from scratch. But like there's kind of this thing where it's all like, I don't see I honestly don't see the hate for I don't like that they don't expand their stuff when they actually have like all the tools they need to expand it.
Yes.
Like they literally put everything in one area. It's apocalyptic thing, 2 years later another apocalyptic thing, 2 years later another apocalyptic thing, and it's just all like, cool. Why is the Sword Coast so prone to apocalypses?
It also comes down to things like, I think about like what they did with Spelljammer and stuff like that, and I'm like, it's not respecting like kind of what happened before, and like, I think it's the thing is, I like some of their original stuff they do occasionally. I don't mind some of the concepts they have, but a lot of times I think it's the entire thing of, if you're tying it to something of old, you're tying it to that. It's sort of like if I said I'm going to do I'm going to do something, Lord of the Rings related, and I completely I changed the story in pretty weird major ways. People will notice that, if I said it's Lord of the Rings, or I say it's like, Star Wars or something like that, and I change things. Again, sometimes you can come up with stories that explain these kind of things, or like, you say it's an alternate world or something like that. But Wizards doesn't do a lot of those things that explain stuff. They just do things.
I'm not saying, like, that's the thing, like, most of the way they handle things are retcons rather than changes.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of just like, nope, Dragonborn were always here. It wasn't like, they could have totally had a cool, like, storyline about the birth of a new race. But they didn't. They just decided to be like, nope, this is a thing. It's always been here.
Mm-hmm.
And I get the frustration there, because it's kind of just all like, it's literally just basically saying like, oh, you liked the old stuff. Well, here's the new stuff. There's no continuity. That thing literally can't work with our new thing. But that also still is the history, and yeah, figure it out yourself. And that's kind of the problem. Like, just changing a character in some ways is like whatever. But that's why I'm still mad about that. But like I can see the frustration there, where it's all like they're leaving all of the hard work to the GMs by supplying a bunch of pieces and basically being all like, yeah, okay, here's your jigsaw, here's some scissors, it's your job to make them fit.
Yeah, it's a weird and interesting place to be at. This was a kind of weird this was an interesting side conversation that does come up related to this, but we definitely dove into it here briefly. Anyway, we should probably continue our adventures.
Yeah. Basically, I kind of hope all that stuff was taking place in Thay and not in Neverwinter, because otherwise, oh my gosh, why?
Why is Saztan in Neverwinter trying to become a god?
Yeah.
Anyway, Planet of the Apes. I do believe we talked about this some time ago, back when it was announced, but we're now getting the fact that the Oni Press is going to be getting, in February, the official books out. And by I mean, I think we might have talked about this like last year at some point in time, back when around the time it was announced. Because it was in Kickstarter.
It was last announced April 11th, 2024. So yeah, a little
that
over
is
a year,
Kickstarter
about a year and a
last
half.
year in July, apparently.
Yeah, but it was announced in April, which is,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's been a while. Hey, can I say, like, I thought that okay. Don't hate me all for this. The original Planet of the Apes, like the first one, is really the only one that I would say, like, if you, oh, sorry, I didn't switch over the image, that you really should visit at this point in time. There were sequels.
Mm-hmm.
They were a thing. I'm sure there are people that really like those. But again, it's kind of like, the weird group. This is like one of those things that, like, with a couple of restarts, a bunch of different versions of the movies and stuff like that, this is a weird franchise in a lot of ways,
Mm.
But this felt like it was based on the original one a lot more. Just to talk about it, since we're talking about, like, 1970s version of it. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
'cause there were the originals, which was Planet of the Apes, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, and Escape from Planet of the Apes. Then they went and did all the prequel stuff, which was Rise of the Planet of the Apes, War of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Oh, did they also like go back and do? Oh, and then Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. What was that? No, yeah, that was 2004. So that's the most recent one.
Don't forget there was a Planet of the Apes that. Who was it? Tim Burton did? I think it was Tim Burton.
There are just 2 Planet of the Apes listed here, so yeah, one of them is probably a Tim Burton one.
Yeah, which was a thing. That was a movie that a lot of decisions were made in, Doran.
Oh, there's also Battle of the Planet of the Apes, which is forgot about that one.
They've done a lot of these overall. Anyway,
Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. Okay.
I think there was also an animated
that's
series probably in there somewhere. I'm sure there was. It was the 70s.
Revolt of the Planet of the Apes? No, Revolt of the Empire of the Apes. That might be AI being dumb.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, that one's also. I think it's just, well, I say AI being dumb. It's more just Google's like, thing where it shows you like all of the stuff. Most of them are a thing, but then one of them is Planet of the Erotic Ape, which is why I'm like, okay, yeah, there's definitely some here that aren't actual things. But the first ones which I mentioned, I know are the actual one.
So yeah.
Let me look at Wikipedia. It's probably more accurate.
They have a core rulebook and the Anasa file source book. They're going to be both released in February next year. $50 a piece for the full cover hardback.
Yeah, there was one animated series.
Yeah, I thought there was, because I remember, like, a couple of years ago.
And a television series.
Oh, I didn't know. I forgot about it. That was probably when I heard.
Live action television series.
I probably heard about that one mentioned, because I think I saw someone a number of years ago basically busting on the Tim Burton version of the movie because it was kind of bad. But they were mentioning some of the other Planet of the Apes stuff during that time period.
There are also 4 Planet of the Apes video games.
Really?
Yep. Planet of the Apes, Revenge of the Apes, Planet of the Apes, Last Frontier, Crisis of the Planet of the Apes VR.
Are any of them new?
The last one was 2018, and that was
Okay.
the VR one.
Okay. That's still pretty old. 2018 VR. Ugh. I'm also going to say that. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean that was when it was brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah, the most recent Planet of the Apes thing is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which was released in 2024. That was a movie.
Mm-hmm.
That was part of that like thing with that new character who was, genetically altered by them altering. It's fun. Okay, here's the best part about the new series of Planet of the Apes. Like the whole thing where like the ape became like super smart was because they altered the mother to produce an offspring that was super smart. Except I think apparently they did it after he was born, so he was genetically altered by the mother after he was born.
I don't know. I don't ask questions. I just remember from the latest movie because
I saw a video on worst science in movies, and that was one of them.
I just know the latest one was like set like a lot more in the future from the original set of the trilogy that's supposed to be kind of like, after like the Planet of the Apes is beginning to form, so it's sort of like, that was the latest one, was more apey.
Yeah.
The Simpson parody still is a great one-time gag of was it Troy McClure in the Planet of the Apes musical?
Yep, I love that.
I always remember Dr. Zayas, ooh, Dr. Zayas.
Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas.
That's all I remember about that, and it stuck in my mind. Thank you, Simpsons.
Yep. By the way, since I'm now thinking about it, my favorite bad science in movies is Dark Side of the Moon. Transformers Dark Side of the Moon, where the entirety of the plot is that they needed to wait till the moon rotated around so that way they could do stuff when people weren't looking.
I'm sorry, Transformers, as soon as you mentioned Transformers in science, I knew it was going to be bad.
I mean, it has nothing to do with even the Transformers. It's just the whole point of the moon is that it always faces the same side.
Thanks, Michael Bay.
But
yeah, so anyway, it's a D6 system that uses West End Games version of it. That's what they used for their Star Wars RPG, which I think is Star Wars RPG before the Fantasy Flight / whoever's got it now. I can't remember the company that it was given to when Fantasy Flight got eaten up.
Asmodee?
Asmodee. Well, Asmodee, remember, took away Fantasy Flight from doing RPG stuff and put it with another company. It's like all their RPGs are with a different group. I have to remember who they are. Anyway, there's been a bunch of Star Wars RPGs. Not Tar Wars RPGs. On the Fantasy Flight site. That's interesting. Still see it there. But I think
they still show it, but they don't sell it.
Oh, Edge Studios. Edge Studios is the ones that technically have control of it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, the West End Games one was the one from 87 to 99. There was a Wizard of the Coast one from 2000, 2010 until Fantasy Flight / Ed Studios had theirs now. Cool. So it's based on the Planet of the Apes version of the system is based on that original one from the 80s into the 90s. So, D6 system that was used there. Cool. Anyway, so yeah, again, it's an interesting world to probably be in. I think that's the best way I can say about Planet of the Apes, because like
I'm gonna be honest, like Planet of the Apes as a concept is really interesting. It's just it's never been done well. Like even the original movie isn't, as far as I understand, isn't great.
That's why I said, like,
as far as like a concept goes.
again, that's why I said, like, if you're gonna watch any of the original ones, just watch the original movie. I can't call it necessarily a classic. A sci-fi classic, you know? Sci-fi classics aren't necessarily great, but they're entertaining. And they did define the sci-fi genre in many ways. There are definitely a few movies in there that you can point out they're like, yeah, it's not so great anymore, but hey, others stand up. Those are the really good ones, the ones that stand up to the test of time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I should watch the original Planet of the Apes.
It's been a long time since I've watched it, but I just have to kind of keep your hands off me, you damn dirty ape. There you go. I did my Charleston Heston. There you go. I had to remember who was in it for a second there. Anyway, so yeah. So yeah, I assume it looks like the Anasa Chronic files has references and resources for the classic films, novels, and comics, while the basic role-playing book, the core book, has basically all the basic lore. So it's, if you just want to play basically in the world, you get the core rule book. But if you want to like reference stuff from any of the extended materials from the, like, you know, that came out probably pre Tim Burton version of the film, then you get the Anasa Files book, because that'll kind of give you all that kind of deeper lore and stuff, which got weird. Maybe you like that stuff. All right. Shall we just quickly stop by PAX Unplugged? Cool. Yay. Here we go. PAX Unplugged windup. Hey, I will say, I'm hoping on Tuesday I'll finally be able to do that slideshow. Both days I was able to do it. Actually, all 3 days I was theoretically able to do it. I did not have time this week. My week was very busy. So, yeah. Anyway, so we know they're coming back 2026. It's coming back on December 4th. I liked it when it's better in December, but I mean, in December 4th, it's not terrible. It'll just be a little colder. You know, a couple weeks does make a difference, honestly, for Philadelphia, but it won't be usually too bad. We know they had over 300 exhibitors. Anything else that was major? I think, again, it seems as though...
they mentioned Gloomhaven, which I haven't heard about.
Oh, yeah. Gloomhaven I know about, but I think I've heard that the co-founder of Cephalofair and who's worked on Gloomhaven was going to be speaking there. Modifius talked about their releases for Fallout and stuff like that. Oh, they're doing... Oh, they talked about Royal Flush. I think that's the New Vegas book that they're working on. I'm going to assume it is, because I remember they talked about it. And then, of course, we heard about the Dagger, Darrington Press, the new Daggerheart stuff. So, yeah, an interesting talk about someone who worked on Gloomhaven. Again, Gloomhaven is one of those board games I've heard of a lot, but I don't know a lot about. I think it's a... I would compare it in, which, again, probably not a good comparison, to those D&D board games we were doing a little bit. Yep. You know, where it's like miniatures based, you kind of build stuff out.
Yeah.
You know,
looking at it right now, that looks very much like that. Yeah.
That's a style of game, but I think Gloomhaven is a little different, but is that kind of style of game.
Yes.
So
I mean, yes, they're all going to be different.
So
yeah, they have little hexes, and you.
So that's interesting.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, like, it's one of those things. It felt like a very quiet year in a lot of ways, even though it wasn't. It just felt like a little more chill or relaxed this year at PAX Unplugged.
I feel like they didn't save a lot of announcements for PAX for whatever reason. Like, I feel like most big announcements were made just when they happened rather than saving them for PAX, which a lot of people do tend to save things for things like PAX. Actually, it was what was the one in the middle of the year?
Gen Con?
I feel like Gen Con, yeah. I feel like most of the big announcements were at Gen Con, and people really didn't do a lot for PAX.
Gen Con usually is a big one, and then Eschen Spiel does have a couple of things too, but usually that's more board game related, rather than like you get a lot more of the RPGs, and like I think Magic usually has stuff at either they'll sometimes have stuff at Gen Con, but then they also have like and I think a lot of like card games tends to have it at like either a tournament they're running or something like Gen Con. Or sometimes they just put out announcements. I guess again, with a lot of the call line culture has evolved, it's a lot easier just to put out announcements now and have hype. You don't have to have these things that are in person. You know.
I mean, the thing is that there is something about the in-person stuff building hype. It's like, oh, you have to come here to get it first and get them the special promo that's related to it. Otherwise, you missed out. Which is kind of a whole thing to build hype. And I don't know why they didn't do that a lot with PAX this year. Like they did with Gen Con, but just not with PAX. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a weird kind of thing. And again, it's not necessarily a bad vibe. It does seem as though, you know, people do enjoy the more relaxed vibe of PAX Unplugged that it gives in comparison to some of the other ones. It's a lot more of, I meet with some friends and play some board games and maybe pick up some cool new board games and maybe like, you know, something like that, you know. And that's not bad, but I do like when it's that mixture of it. We get a couple big things here, and then it's also the chillax time, you know? So it's like, oh, you know, you can chillax most of the time, but then you can also go check this out. And again, like, yeah, the Dagger Heart or the Dang to Press announcement, the Modifius talking about stuff, you know, the big like panels and stuff. Those are good, but like,
I mean, but they announced that they were doing Royal Flush like a few months ago.
Yeah,
they were working on that.
No,
Dagger Heart, they've been releasing their play tests, but yeah, them announcing the book is kind of big.
Yeah. It's an interesting place to be in a lot of ways. So I think overall,
I wonder if it's worth going to next year. You know.
Again, it's that weird thing of saying like I can say both yes and no, because if you're looking just for like big announcements, big tabletop stuff, I'm gonna say there's a good chance no. But like if you want to like check out a lot of board games, maybe find some new stuff, play some board games, like meet with some people, you know, maybe have one of those kind of big announcement kind of things, then yeah, it's that kind of like it is good for different reasons than like something like a Gen Con.
That's fair.
I
mean, I know it's a bit more low-key than Gen Con. Like, Gen Con is the big announcement one, but I always saw PAX as, like, the secondary announcement one.
It kind of was for some years. And, like, yeah. I think it's the subtlety of PAX Unplugged, too. I'm sure, because there's 300 people out there. Plenty of those exhibitors were showing stuff off there. Little things that were being introduced, you know. It's like my company, which is like, you know, a small indie company. We have like 3 other games. We have our 4th game coming out, you know, or some of those interesting things. Like, again, hey, they were doing playtests for like something, as I said, I wanted to see, and I got to check out a little bit, the Godzilla RPG. Again, big giant monster / Godzilla fan. I always have been. So getting to check that out was pretty big on my list. Was that something that was like, had a huge booth or something? No, actually, it was interesting that they were kind of like on the ass end of booths. Like, because it's, of all the rows, they were technically the last row. And they were set up there. They had a pretty decent sized booth in the last row, but they're off in the ass end of nowhere. And they were doing fine, you know? Sometimes that's all you need to do is have a booth. So, and, you know, it's interesting that that's the big thing they're showing off. They're like, hey, we've announced this. Now you can come see what it's all about. You know, here's the first time people can see it before it's officially released.
I did not realize that Gen Con was run by Wizards.
Forget that so many times because it was originally started by
TSR.
Yeah.
TSR started it, and then apparently Wizards. There was actually an intermediary, so someone had it in the middle. Well, oh no, that's sorry, I misread that. Yeah, no, it was bought by Wizards. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway. That explains why it's the big one, the big announcement one, because they probably do all their big announcements there.
Well, it does look like Hasbro did sell Gen Con to Peter Atkinson, the former CEO of Wizards in 2002. So are they back with Wizards, or are they still with them? Wizards of the Coast.
Well, I think maybe like it went to Hasbro and then went back to Wizards, I think is the thing. Right?
It's a weird thing, though. Yeah. Wizards of the Coast purchased TSR in 1997, which in turn was purchased by Hasbro in 1999. Purchased from Hasbro in May 2002, forming Gen Con LLC to run the convention. Okay, so it is its own company now, and it was owned by Hasbro for a little while there, too. The evolution of Gen Con, again, from TSR, which has been around since 1968. Oh, no, it's been around earlier, but in 1967, Gary Gygax took control of it. Or I should say TSR took control of it. So it was around for 8 years ahead.
Yeah, funny enough, like, I mean, what I love is that, like, first Gen Con 0, 12 attendees.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, that's kind of the thing is... Oh, yeah, Gary Gygax is home.
Wow.
12 attendees. To be fair, that is how things like this start.
I guess it's one of those things is like Gen Con was started by Gary Gygax, but was kind of its own thing until he officially had his company buy it up in 76. So that's kind of an interesting way of thinking about it. Yeah. Fascinating.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, in 2002 it was purchased by Peter Atkinson.
Yeah. And now it's become what it is today. Big old thing.
Yep. But that explains why Wizards does all their big announcements there, because they still have that connection.
Oh yeah, it's a deep connection. It's the connection through D&D, and a definitely connection through Atkinson and his stuff that he set up, too. So it's definitely a place that has a deep connection with them. But anyway, so PAX Unplugged will be back next year. PAX East is the next time. If you really want to check out a PAX-related things, PAX East isn't bad to go to, but I will kind of say here, what's going on here? What's going on with this? Sorry. Anyway, I'll have to look into that after we're done the stream. What's I saying? PAX East is going to be coming up. It does have some tabletop stuff there. It's not that big, and that's even rarer for having announcements at. But it's not impossible for them to have something there. But I would definitely say it's very unlikely. And it is more of a video game related stuff. PAX East, I would definitely say. Anyway, shall we move on once more? Yes, thank you. To our next topic. Geez, great. Diamond! Good old Diamond. Brought us a couple things this week. Because of course it did. We can't go months without something from Diamond, They have to come back with a vengeance. What the hell is that? Why is that there? Something's wrong with my keyboard, unfortunately.
I mean,
I'm gonna have to look into it. I spilled something next to my keyboard, and I think it dripped something in here. And I think I thought it didn't, but I think it did, and I'm gonna have to kind of clean
it's
it up.
S exclamation point. I have no idea where that came from. So.
Yeah. It's so weird.
The link works. It's just, I have no idea what you did there. So.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to watch this here. Here's I'll post both the articles right now, so I just don't have to worry about it. Why do you want to give me that? stupid whatever happened to you keyboard. Anyway, yeah, technical issues, yay. So Maryland, that's the first one we got. There were 4 motions to dismiss complaints in the suits Alliance Entertainment filed against Diamond.
Okay. Yeah, so the bankruptcy courts denies to motion dismiss. So this one was for Alliance. If you remember, like they're currently bought by something Pop.
Sparkle Pop.
No.
Yeah, Sparkle Pop.
Yeah, Sparkle Pop. So they were bought by Sparkle Pop, but they were first going to be bought by Alliance. But then, like, Alliance found out, oh, hey, wait, they don't have the assets that we thought they did, so we're going to bypass it, and then Sparkle Pop bought them.
Yeah.
This is basically them, like, Alliance sued them, saying that, like, oh, they were misled or something, and that was apparently dismissed.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. It's because Diamond was going to have, like, some exclusive deal with Wizards of the Coast, but that fell through, and Alliance didn't know about it.
What's that? Okay, we'll worry about that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I unplugged my keyboard to see if I could like play around with it here, and everything is breaking for a second. Don't worry about it. So yeah, anyway, can you continue because I'm dealing with issues here.
So basically, Alliance allegedly lawsuit alleges that Diamond concealed the fact that the distribution contract between Alliance and Wizards, or between Alliance Game Distributed and Wizards of the Coast, was ending until after the asset purchase agreement was signed and approved by a court. And should Alliance determine its assets purchase agreement, the company's comic and game distribution assets. So basically, they were like, oh yeah, so there's some. They were hoping to get like a thing with it, and basically the courts were like, yeah, no. Basically, they thought they were saying it was fraud, and the courts refused to dismiss. The judge refused to dismiss for fraud against the Diamond Company's restructuring consultant and Tyson Harry, aiding and abetting fraud. Yeah, basically they were like, oh, it was fraud. It was meant they were just trying to get us money, and their courts are apparently saying no. So Alliances denies it. So, or the Alliance, the courts deny Alliance their Alliance denies that it was fraud. Yeah. So Diamond actually had a win for once.
I know it's a rare thing that Diamond gets a win in any of these kind of situations because they're so kind of wonderful at everything they do.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's look at this other one. Diamond Advisors bill another 90K. Okay, or 900K.
Yeah.
Yeah. JH continues. Advisors billed $900,000 for services provided in October. This is up substantially from roughly $700,000 billed in September. This is month to month.
So much money.
Once again, it's the adversary case before the bankruptcy courts that are driving up the fees. Yeah.
Why the tab's not switching?
One positive development. Parties agreed to mediate and settle disputes around Diamond's attempt to seize and sell consignment inventory. Okay, so some settlements are actually happening. Which means the future paychecks or the future bills to lawyers will be cheaper. On the other hand, litigation between its erstwhile Diamond acquire Alliance and Jim and Diamond contributors are in related companies, investments, blah. Restructuring consultants also billed larger amounts in October. So basically, they're just racking up debt, basically, even on top of their already bankruptcy. Creditors have interest in disputes. Total legal Okay, here's the fun one. Total legal banking consulting fees in the bankruptcy and related cases now total around $16.6 million. And of course, these amounts don't include the fees paid by Diamond's creditors individually. Those are additional costs of the bankruptcy not visible to the public. So basically, all the suing and stuff going on has racked up $16 million of debt on top of their already bankruptcy. Jeez, I do not envy Sparkle Pop.
Yeah. Oh, that's not good. I'm having horrific amounts of tech issues.
At least it's not like destroying your stream.
No, but I can't really control stuff anymore at this point in time very well. We'll see how it works. Because like undo that. Like clicking on to my file highlights stuff and it doesn't unhighlight it on my mouse. And also when I hit home, it opens up a new window now. It doesn't open up a new tab or doesn't go to home on where I'm at.
Oh, okay. This is actually a. Are you on Chrome or Firefox?
Firefox.
This is actually a bug that happens that I've had before, where the keys get scrambled. I can't remember how I fix it.
Look at my phone.
It's not a it's not a problem with your keyboard.
Because it seems
From what I understand, you know what I think you need to do is just go into Discord, like type some things, and then go back. Like, if I remember correctly, like that actually can fix things.
All right, I'm gonna switch over to my Discord. Well, that okay. I tried to go over.
It'll
to my,
screw up this cameras, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. Clicking onto my chat in Discord opens up Discord in Firefox. I can't switch from announcements. I'll just put it here. Hi. Also now, pressing enter doesn't send it. It gives me a new level. And I'm also auto-highlighting.
Oh, wait, no. Okay, I know what's going on. One of your key, the shift key is pressed, is stuck down. A shift key.
You want to turn on sticky keys. Sticky keys like Shift, Control, Alt, and Windows log keys by pressing one key at a time.
Yeah. No, don't do sticky.
So no.
Turn that off. Yeah.
Okay, that actually did that there. Was sticky keys automatically on?
No, you probably just I think it was stuck down and you dislodged the key.
Oh, okay.
Basically.
So something was stuck down.
Because I realized what was going on, and now like Shift Home would have been like the new window, whereas Home is a new tab. You know?
Yeah. Oh.
So, like that's what was going on. Is your Shift key was stuck down?
Another key is still kind of messing up, so I kind of gotta watch stuff. There might be another stuck key. All right. That's not where I want to be. I want to be over here. Cool, great. I'm just gonna... Cool. I just, like...
Okay. You full screen something.
Did I? Oh, yeah, full screen this. So I just put my hand across my keyboard if there's any other shifty keys.
Okay. Glad I helped you figure that out.
It's not perfect.
What? Yeah.
I'm still having an issue where it's just shifting down a little bit in the current tab I'm in Firefox. Towards the bottom. Not all the way to the bottom either.
Oh, probably middle click.
Oh, in my mouse?
Yeah. You probably middle clicked at some point.
Oh. We'll see if that's solve the problems. Anyway, 900,000. That sucks. They're spending so much money on shit.
And again, they're up to 16 million in accrued fees.
This is like legal fees too, isn't it?
Legal fees, banking fees, and consulting fees.
Jeez. What are we gonna do with you, Diamond? I don't get rid of you, finally. Play the beast.
I mean, it's whatever.
it's still just randomly like shifting.
I don't know what you mean by shifting.
So like, you know, it's scrolling up and down. The current tab I'm in. Favoring down.
So like, again, if you... Well...
We'll solve it later. After stream. After stream, I'll try to figure this out. I don't think the shift key is still stuck. Trying both sticky keys, no. Yes,
literally, you can just say disable entirely, like, so it won't even pop up.
Oh. Can I? It's just asking me yes or no. I guess I'll. Oh, it's sort of fine now. Anyway, shall we talk our deeper discussion topic? Sure.
Yeah.
So, this is one that I had on my list for a while now, and what I was thinking about it is the concept is, I called it creating a play environment. I mean, this is for in general, because technically speaking, I'm not gonna lie, there are similarity things you do between play environments for both online and in person, but there are things that you do between them also in a lot of ways. So it's a discussion you kind of can have on things that can create an environment for your players to be in. And when you create a play environment, you're both creating an environment to play within and also just a space for them to play in. And it's kind of that combination of both of them that creates the place to play.
Yep.
So a good example would be, you know, it's a meeting place for them. Is that like someone's house? Is that a Discord, server or like a chat group? These are different ways that you can do that.
Yeah, like play by text is a thing.
Yeah, there are lots of places that you start with a Is it page up, page down, or home or end or something like that? Click page up, page down. That was stuck too. Sorry, just playing around with keys and hoping that one of them is the right one. Fix this shit.
I mean, it's probably like the up or down key. Arrow key.
I was playing with those, and the shifts are much more like page up, page down, I think. I played around with them. Maybe that'll get it too. I'm getting distracted by this. Like, there are a lot of ways I think we've kind of talked about that you can improve the place that you're playing into, you know. That could be a thing as simple as, lighting, music. Certainly speaking, I'll save that for after recording for the redeem in chat then too. I'll say that too because I did see there was a redeem there. That'll be after we're done. Show before I end stream. What was I thinking? I'm sorry, I'm very distracted by this entire problem here.
Yeah. So basically, so you can do like mood lighting, music, that kind of stuff. I think that's all very nice. I actually think you should do that for stuff. For your play environment. Okay, so let's go over like probably the different environments you can look at. So for example, I would argue that there's in person, then you have virtual, the rest are virtual.
Yes.
I guess if you really wanted to, you can play by mail, snail mail.
I think nowadays, traditionally, the ways that you're probably going to be playing today are either in person or on a VTT.
Through a VTT.
Yeah, yes. I think those are the two that we really should focus on because again, there are some other weird ones that you can play in. You know, as you said, by text, by mail.
I don't think anyone's ever played by mail, but it just was a funny idea that popped in my head. Yeah, so person and VTT. However, with VTT, there's also just text medium. So like that could be email, a Discord, where you don't even like where you can roll physical dice and then just put your responses and what you rolled into a text, you know. So yeah, So I'd probably say those are the big three. For text environments, there's really not much you can do. Maybe you can send a link to a song, from YouTube or something. If you're gonna do by text and in something like that. So that's gonna be all up to you describing things and creating the environment through description.
Yeah.
There's a lot you can do with the other two. Also, when it comes to VTTs and actually playing through that, you can do through the VTT text, through video, or through video and audio, or through just audio. So video and audio, I feel like creates the best medium for actually tracking each other, but also some people don't have cameras, some people are very camera shy, so that's a whole thing. Then you have but I feel like still most of those, when you do it like that, it'll be through you'll be utilizing a VTT, and that's where you're probably going to do all the cool stuff, rather than a medium like Discord or where you're just going to do video or just camera without a VTT.
Yeah.
So outside of music for those, I don't see much else. So we can look at in-person and VTT mostly, I think. If we're going to talk about play environments. So, since Stantis is still very clearly distracted, I'll just keep going.
Yeah. Sorry. I was testing some things out, and randomly I clicked onto the document I used to make true track things, and something a line just got deleted. Randomly.
Control Z?
Maybe controls got stuck?
Well, I'm saying Control Z or Control to
well,
undo.
I undid it because I used my mouse to click and undo it.
Okay.
But yeah, I had to click off of and back onto the web page because that's at least whatever's doing there. It's not doing something. Something's broken, basically. I don't know why.
Yeah. Do you have mouse hotkeys?
Not traditionally
Page up
set
and page down, because page up and page down are common mouse hotkeys if your mouse has those sort of things.
Because it doesn't feel like it's related to the mouse. I think it was, something felt. Because again, as I said, this started when I think I got something on my keyboard a little bit that I thought I didn't, but I must have. But I don't know where it got into the keyboard.
Flip it upside down and shake it.
It wasn't super liquidy is the thing too. And
I'm just wondering if you heard anything, that's kind of the thing. You hear a little shaking or something.
Oh, what's going on? I don't know what's going on, and it annoys me greatly. Anyway, return to you. We'll try to finish this up.
Oh, there is a scroll lock button. That might do something.
Well, I've turned on scroll lock. As soon as I stopped scroll lock, it scrolled.
As soon as you stopped it, it started to scroll?
No, I moved up to a location that was higher up, and then it scrolled down a little bit. So I don't know if it was because the scroll lock doesn't apparently stop my mouse wheel from scrolling, at very least.
It stops your middle mouse from scrolling, the middle mouse click.
Oh no, the scroll lock doesn't stop that. I've got scroll lock on; it doesn't stop that. I don't know what scroll lock is supposed to do.
Actually, it doesn't. What is that supposed to do?
So I go to
now
home,
I'm very curious. Hold on one second.
And it goes down. It's almost as if page down is the issue.
Oh, it changes the arrow keys. Okay, never mind.
There's the bottom.
So no, I didn't do anything. No, sorry, I'm just really curious. Their arrow keys scroll content on the screen instead of moving the cursor or the active cell pointer. Just still using programs like Microsoft Excel. Oh, okay, so it's just not super common. It's just not used in everything. Never mind. Anyway, I'll keep going while you keep figuring things out. Anyway,
Yeah. Sorry.
as far as environments go, so let's look at in-person environments. Obviously, you can have music. Music's actually going to apply to all of these, so that's an important one to think about.
Music's a good one.
Yep. But food in person, you can do food and mood lighting. I've heard some success with mood lighting. You can also do maps and handouts. Handouts are a lot more fun in person than like on a VTT. Gotta say that much. Yeah, so like honestly, keeping your players well fed is nice. Definitely have some snacks.
Sure.
If you're doing in person, I don't know. Like, trying to think about like cool additions to like a play environment.
Evil. So it's you. You're doing something. Sorry. I was running some experiments. I do agree that like there's a lot of different things. Making sure people are well fed, making sure like you've got a place to chat in between games, making sure you have music, making sure whatever they're playing on is well set up. I think that's another thing too. If you are in person, you might want a map or some kind of setup, or at least some kind of table in the middle that you can kind of like roll dice on and stuff like that. The other possibility might be like if that's having the virtual table in a VTT. That you might then also have like stuff that's there on that table or around that table.
Yeah.
Equal sign. Why do you keep pressing? Sorry. I'm running a weird test, and I opened up a new notepad just to see what was going on after putting some like letters and stuff in there. And so far, equal sign has showed up randomly 3 times. It keeps getting pressed.
Does your keyboard have drivers that you haven't installed?
I'm gonna reinstall my keyboard drivers.
I have no idea. I'm just suggesting things. Okay. Like, again, it's just kind of the troubleshooting thing. Yeah, I don't know. Personally, I think a lot more about what to do with VTTs. I mean, because that's where I tend to like think I'm going to do most of my stuff. I mean, even in person, maps are a big thing for me. I love maps. Like when I was doing stuff in person, I was like considering like printing out maps and stuff. Too bad I don't have money.
Yeah.
That's the thing. In person, like miniatures, maps, that kind of stuff, that's all very, environmental stuff you can do to make things more engaging. Not letting your players have phones.
That's a tough one, especially nowadays.
I know. I'm just like, because the whole thing about a player just randomly being on their phone is kind of a pain sometimes nowadays, but some kind of enforcement there might be necessary. Yeah. As far as it goes, though, like VTTs, kind of the same thing. Maps, tokens, sound. A lot of VTTs have like weather stuff. I particularly like what was it? Actually, I have seconds, and I can tell you what it is. For environmental noises, I really like this one person's. I know I have someone on my phone, and it's also attainable through the interwebs. I just need to figure out what it is. I think it's like Noisescape or something like that. Oh, My Noise. Is that what it is? Yeah. I think that's what this is. Yeah. Let me see if that's what it's actually called.
Cool. I've just unplugged my keyboard for now. I'll figure it out in a little bit.
Yeah, My Noise. It's called My Noise. I like My Noise.
Hi, Momo. I'm having horrific problems with my keyboard messing up completely, and I don't know what's wrong with it, and it's on fire.
I mean, go ahead and ask your question. I'll see,
Everything is burning! Everything is burning!
You might just need a new keyboard.
This is a new keyboard. I just got it recently. Like, something got in there, I think, and I don't know how to get it out. I'm sad
Honestly,
about
the
that.
fact that you've been having weird extra spaces that have been bothering the hell out of me makes me think you just need to, like, return it and be like, hey, it's borked and give me a new one.
Mm-hmm.
Have you
Core?
heard of the hit
Oh my
2003 film The Core? Oh, wait. The Core. I think I know what that is.
I know of that
Yeah.
movie. Have I seen that movie?
The Core. I remember
I
that
think
movie.
I have seen that
I
movie.
thought it... I have, yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, like, yes, everybody over the age of 30 probably has seen that movie. It was in that time period of, like, disaster movies. Wasn't The Core, like, a culmination of the terrible disaster movies in a lot of ways?
I mean, it played a part of them. Like, it was very scientifically inaccurate, but at the same time, it was fun. I thought it was a fun movie. Oh, we have a Momo.
Hello.
Hi.
All right. Hi. Sorry. I would have missed most of this had Umber not crashed playing Arc Raiders because he sucks. But yeah,
Sorry,
the hit
Umberin.
film The Core from 2003. Great movie. Anyways, what's the topic? Or are you almost done with the show?
Creating a play environment. You can be here for the last bit of it.
To be fair, I've been
Worm's
monologuing this whole time.
Worm's been talking
because...
about it, where, like, I've now have my keyboard unplugged because, like, I think something, like, I spilled something next to my keyboard. I think something, like, dripped in there, like, because it was,
Dude,
like...
that's so cool.
And got in there, and finally got into a place where it's interfering with stuff. So maybe let it sit and dry. I don't know if that'll fix it. I don't know. I haven't unplugged right now. But
Rest in peace, dude.
I spilled soup. That was the problem. I didn't think it got on the keyboard, and it wasn't a lot of soup. It was a little like splash of it, and I'm like, God damn it! It's like the bottom of the soup.
Someone hasn't seen The Core. Look, the only thing you need to know about The Core is what's her name? Hilary Swank is in it, along with Aaron Eckhart. But Hilary Swank has an interview. I know she's actually a really good actor, and she's in this piece of garbage.
Wouldn't have remembered that. I'm sorry.
Really good piece of trivia about this film that I did recently watch because I hate myself. She did an interview promoting the film where she said this movie is putting the science back in science fiction.
I mean, again, I just said horribly unscientific is my one thing that I thought was interesting about it. So,
wasn't it the like giant drill device?
Yeah, they have to go to the center of the Earth to restart the core
Didn't they,
of
like,
the
also
Earth with
fall
several
into...
nukes.
Yeah, didn't they also fall into like a giant geode at one point in time?
Yeah, and they're running into like giant diamonds and stuff. And then like they had to like the one guy was all like, oh yeah, the failsafe is only on the outside of the thing, so I have to go out there and die to.
Everyone's way too willing to just die in that movie, and conveniently, it's all the people of color.
I know. Oh my gosh, I don't remember that.
The Core. It is a movie.
The perfect movie made for syndication, where you hope you get to the last 30 minutes of it, because it's the only good part of the movie.
I mean, I think it was fun. I think it's a fun movie.
It's one of my favorite terrible movies.
That is honestly fair. I could totally see that. Honestly, you talking about it makes me want to go and rewatch it now.
It's that age
I'm pretty sure you can rent it on Amazon for 99 cents.
This is like the age of the original Twister, and then they had Dante's Peak and Volcano, which both came out around the same time, which was
twin
weird.
Movies.
I know, they were twin movies. So it's like, who was shopping around?
The Core is like, The Core is two twin movies, but they've mashed them together into one film. There is a better version of the core we never got.
That's right. Armageddon and Deep Impact. Those are another twin
Yeah,
movies.
and Armageddon's the better movie.
I hate that it's true. Because it's
Deep Impact
Armageddon.
Deep Impact's really boring.
I at least like both the Volcano movies. They're not good, but Dante's Peak and Volcano are both
I haven't
fun.
seen either in enough of a time to know which side I'm on.
Dante's Peak has Pierce Brosnan, and it's just like him saving a family from Volcano.
Isn't Dante's Peak like the really sad one, and Volcano's the really like
silly
campy one?
Yes, and it's sad, but I'm sorry, it's kind of silly. Dante's Peak in like a lot of like ways. It's sort of like, well, we've almost made our way there. We don't need to do this. I'm going to sacrifice myself, something like that,
All I'm saying is, when we get in Secret Lair, Dante's Peak, and all those movies,
a set of Secret Lairs that are all just like disaster movies. I would love that. We have Twister, Dante's Peak. Honestly, we have fucking Armageddon with Bruce Campbell. Not Bruce Campbell. What's his face? Bruce Willis.
Oh, did you know that Owen Wilson is in Armageddon? He's in it somewhere.
I don't remember.
Oh yeah, but play environment is something you should probably create, and I don't really have anything to add to this discussion besides derailing it.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I mean, don't worry, Tantus was doing that very hard already.
I really was. I would have loved.
You should create your play environment better than Tantus treats his keyboard.
Apparently. Well, everything works now that I unplugged my keyboard. I'll just have to work on mouse. If I have to type anything in, I've got to plug it back in and hope for the best.
Screwed.
At least for a little while.
It might be used to buy a new keyboard situation.
If it's broken already, that's gonna suck so bad. I mean, it'll be fine, but it's like, I'll see. Maybe
What did you spill on it?
I spilled soup next to it.
And that was just now.
I was gonna say, what'd you spill next to it? Soup or something?
It was, but it was like.
Was that right? Was that just now when you were eating?
It was just now when I was eating, and it wasn't a lot of soup.
Yeah, you probably just,
it was like
just needs to dry out.
It was like I thought none of it got there because it was like next to me. It fell down, but I think some of it splashed in there, and I tried to clean it just in case, but I think something got in there.
Here's the issue: soup is very salty, and salt makes a good conducting material. So
yeah.
So even like a little bit can potentially like make your keyboard trigger. But yeah, it basically drying out should honestly be fine because I doubt you got enough in there to ruin it.
Yeah. As I said, it was like the very little at the bottom, so it wasn't like a huge splash, and most of it stayed in there. So I was like, did anybody get in the keyboard? And I it looked like there was some on the edge of my keyboard, but I didn't see any in there. But I'm guessing like a droplet got in there, and it's just fucking with stuff. Right?
Possible.
I mean, have you considered just pulling off your keys?
I wouldn't know how to do that on this one. Oh, they pop off very easily on this one.
They just pop off traditionally.
Literally, I just pulled off my key to show you. That's what they do.
I did a cleaning of my keyboard the other day, and
I really need to do that. My keyboard is disgusting.
You can do it depending on how raised your keys are. You can do it pretty decently with just a can of compressed air.
I do have one of those, so I should go and do that. My favorite was when I shook my keyboard literally like a few days ago, and a few like nail clippings fell out of there.
Yeah, I gotta get all the gunk out of it.
But then again, like
all the biological material.
Then again, like I'll clip fingernails while I'm sitting here, and so like
I clip them at my desk as well.
Sometimes something will just fly off, and you're like, did I make sure that didn't go flying somewhere I didn't want it? As I'm popping off keys and checking stuff.
I agree. The Journey to the Center of the Earth was better.
The Core is one of those Journey to the Center of the Earth movies because for some reason there was a period of time where Hollywood was like, we really got to make this like a thing, and then they only made like 2 movies.
I think they made like 3.
Because there's the Brendan Fraser movie, which I actually quite like, despite it being a bad movie.
Yeah, like where they like go to the Journey to the Center of the Earth based off the books, and they're like, oh wait, they were telling the truth.
I saw that movie in cinema when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
It is like, there's some movies. There are some movies. Some of them are better than others. I think that's the best way of saying it. These are certainly movies occasionally. But yeah.
So true.
So, but yeah, as far as play environments go, like, I focus a lot on VTT play environments because, I do like to, go overboard with maps and stuff.
A lot of mine end up usually just being theater of the mind. Here's a world map, and I'm just going to describe stuff. And if need be, I will go and open Dungeon Draft and make a dungeon map if I need to.
Yeah, I think it's one of
I wish
those
Jantis
things.
made more of those. I feel like
Dungeon Draft is
sorry,
a
no,
really
not-
good program for it.
I wish Joe made those.
Yeah, he just. I assume he just pulls off of Reddit, and they're like really blurry.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the problem with Reddit.
And they never line up. Well, that's the thing. I don't think even he pulls off of Reddit. I think he pulls off of Google Images.
Because sometimes on Reddit, the map makers do not give you the grid count. You kind of got to math it out yourself.
You can. It's again, if you know how to like use basic
Yeah, it's
image
not
editing
like
software,
it's
you
not
can figure that out in
too
like 2
hard.
minutes. But I've literally tried to explain how to do it for Joe once, and he was all like, got so lost.
Yeah,
I find maps like to be very useful tools for play environment, but I do have a very like theater of the mind heavy group,
I think it's that
which
thing
is
that-
nice.
I've actually heard, and that's the thing. It depends on what you're going for, because I've actually heard maps. Like I've heard people talk about like maps and stuff, and maps can actually be a hindrance, because like if you like see an empty room, especially if you're just doing empty rooms and not describing them at all, like you're just like, here's the map. It is an empty room. Like then players do not fill it with their mind. So you have to like describe it, and then players can sometimes go from there. But
our Pathfinder game, we do use a lot of maps, but because we have a player who can't conjure images in his mind, so it helps quite a lot with player investment and immersion if you have maps for people like that.
Yeah, that is actually a thing some people have. It's actually like
It was wild when I learned people couldn't do that.
Yeah, no, like literally, like people cannot. And the wildest things, like ask them about their dreams. Like that's wild. I heard someone describe their dreams, and I'm just all like, weird.
There's a lot of interesting directions that like you can go to help your players, and I think the idea of the environment is twofold. The environment is meant to make them, when they are physically in a place, feel more connected with it. And again, even online, you can physically connect them with it. It's like so you're drawing them in with all the stuff you have in front of them on their screen. It's not as big as like the snacks and like like lighting and stuff over at home, at someone's home. But then you do have all the stuff that sets up the environment they will be playing in. The maps, the music, and all that stuff. And these two things layer together to create the experience that you want for your players. And some of it's not necessary, like plenty of it's not necessarily needed, but the more you have them connect up with the game and the world and what you're setting up, the more they are going to be immersed, and the easier for it is them to become immersed in the game. I think that's what it is you're setting up stuff to make it easy for your players to jump in there.
I wanna go over one I just remembered that I heard someone doing. And it honestly was kind of genius. It was a guy who just loved collecting hats. And so he used hats, like different character, he'd put on a new hat.
Nice.
So
I always try to find something to represent a character.
It is
for my NPCs, especially important ones. Put a face to the name and voice.
Yeah, that's why I try to work on accents and voices and stuff, because you can get away with like if you have. That's the big thing is if you don't want to, like, you don't have to do accents. Like that's another thing. Like I know a lot of people are like, oh, I wish I could do accents, but it's like you really don't have to. Like I've heard good GMs do it. You just have to find a way to distinguish the person.
Vocal pitch helps a lot if you can change your vocal tone and pitch.
In theory, everyone can do that. There's some people with limited range, which makes it harder, but everyone can do that to a degree. But I will say, like, if you can't do that, you can do mannerisms. So, like, phrases or tics or something that like people have.
Yep.
If you can't do that, then you can do, like I said, the hats thing, which I think is genius if you have issues with like, vocal stuff. Even you can even do there are kind of cheap voice modulators if you really want to go that far.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the one I purchased. I actually want to figure that out and use it at some point because I think it'd be fun to use. But yeah. So like there are ways to do it. Distinguishing characters.
It's the kind of thing too that like I think player experience can help a lot too. Because sort of like, especially if you're looking for like the voices and stuff to help increase like the NPCs and stuff like that. It's sort of like I always try to find a voice for one of my PCs and stick with it for some period of time. And there's plenty of my PCs that I can step back into. Like if I want to be like Badger, I kind of talk like this. Where Perrin's a little like this. They're slightly close to each other because they're both smaller people, but I have this kind of higher inflex. Or I'm like this for Tools, because she's kind of weird Smurf Dublin, and kind of I made her a little weirdly almost Russian or Eastern European accenty, but it's not very well done. Or kind of like, or Bander's kind of like this, my character from Joe's game. It's my kind of rough dwarven voice.
That's the bard that has no combat spells, right? Or do you
got
have combat spells now?
It took a while, but I finally got combat spells.
I like my Ixpenor, the ferret.
Yeah.
Kind of high squeaky, little bit nasally, and then I have kind of deeper nasally for Blankus.
I just put on a very posh voice for my paladin on Tuesdays.
But that kind of thing, like having experience with doing that does help you then, if you want to kind of dive in as voices and stuff too. Again, this is not like critical, but it's layers. It's you layer a lot of stuff, and the more stuff you layer, the more immersive and player friendly the environment you're creating is in a lot of ways. And I think that's a good thing about it.
Yeah, I think the real thing about like an environmental stuff is a little bit actually can go a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yep. Very, very true. Doesn't take a lot. So, we kind of say that's that for our thing and turn to our week in gaming to kind of finish up.
True.
I can't change the things because my hotkey doesn't exist anymore. So we're gonna just be on the deeper discussion topic to finish up today.
Well, it still might be a hotkey because you spilled soup on it.
It was, yeah. It wasn't look. It was the bottom end of the soup. It wasn't as hot anymore. It was the end of the soup.
That's why I don't eat at my desk.
I don't really have much of a choice.
Yeah, you got a weird setup.
Look,
Yeah.
I haven't built my table yet. Yeah, it's been sitting in my other room for a few months now, unbuilt, but I haven't built it yet, so therefore I have no other place.
I think that's probably a good thing is my goal is in the next month to finally finish up this area, get the new desk before January. Get a small table to put food on or something. That's at least off the side.
Get like one of those little TV tables.
Yeah. I did have some stuff spilled, as I've noticed that there's a little bit of material that was under my keyboard now.
You could have guessed.
Hey. So, I don't know if that fell out at some point in time in my cleaning, or if it was just, there and I didn't notice it till now. Anyway, so, hey, Sunday, I guess we would start with it, and this was Joe's Games Week. Yes.
Yes.
No, I'm not in that game anymore. I don't intend to go back either.
It's fine. I gotta be honest. It's fine. We're at like the end of everything there.
I spend my Sundays playing video games. Like a real loser.
Oh yeah, we kind of I remember now.
We finished up Water Adventures and are now
Water Temple.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
there was an actual water temple, so you're not wrong.
Yeah, we actually we just explored a bit and stuff. Basically, we had to figure out a very, very mediocre puzzle. We actually did the exact same issue we did in Tantus's game, where we completely overlooked the obvious thing. Like we just didn't examine. Like, oh, cool statue. Let's not examine it. And then it's like, oh, there was a chest there.
Nice.
Like a secret compartment there.
Hell yeah.
Yep. I think it went fine. We managed to find some stuff, get some loot, meet with the leader of the water genies, get what we needed from them, and now we are just trying to find a way back to Sigil to do the, like, I guess, finale of this entire adventure. So I don't know where we're gonna end up. Somewhere.
Who knows? Who can say?
It hasn't been a terrible adventure, but again, like, definitely has its highs and lows. You know.
Again, I very much think that you know, the best part of Joe's games are his combat encounters.
I heard the book he's using is quite bad.
Fortunately, we're
Well-
mostly away from that book at this point in time.
Yeah, we are away from that. I'm gonna be honest. We are
adventure
better
part.
off for it.
Yes.
Not a lot, but we are.
Yeah,
Understood.
that book was
I heard it's not a good. It's also not very like in depth. I think it's only like 50 pages.
yeah,
Because it came in the really bad Planescape bundle.
Yeah, it was the Planescape adventure.
Mhm.
It was fine. I just kind of like hold that note for a minute there.
What did he use?
Yeah, I think that's a lot about it. How people's Monday go?
I had my Monday game. The party successfully defended a town.
Well, I
From
kind of want to
Undead.
finish up. I kind of want to finish
Well,
up.
you
the whole
finish
thing.
up.
Basically, we just finished up the dungeon and got loot. That was
Okay.
basically it.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, my game, they defended a town successfully by basically, it's in the winter at the moment on the continent, so they flooded a river to kind of make somewhat impassable terrain for an undead horde, which worked pretty well. And then they went and fought a zombie clot that was just hurling undead into the city, because that's what they do. A sort of artillery bombardment. And they went to the dungeon, which is a trench network, where they fought some general, like some leaders, officer staff, and found an altar that is going to let them communicate with the big evil person, who will maybe enlighten them on why she's doing the things she's doing.
Why are you doing horrible stuff to us?
Spoilers, it's because she's evil.
I mean,
It's not really any redeeming her.
they might still believe that like we can fix.
I'm gonna
this.
be honest. There's a chance that they don't let me monologue and they just break the magic item and leave. Oh, it's a wild card. Who knows?
Honestly, with players, you never know.
I might not get the monologue.
Aw. Monologuing is some of the best stuff you can do.
Exactly. And if I don't get the monologue, I don't really know how I'm gonna explain what's happening to the players.
They're like, they're just gonna wreck the monologuing. You can't have your wonderful monologue.
It's a cutscene. Can't interact with it.
Exactly. How about Tuesday?
Tuesday. Oh, we didn't have Tuesday this week. We had Tuesdays last week, where we've done some more of a Pathfinder dungeon, which are painful at times.
That's accurate.
But this dungeon is weird because there's the opening area had cultists, then the back end area had random undead in it. So we fought a room full of ghouls, and we fought maybe the funniest enemy Paizo has ever designed, and it's only for this adventure path, to my knowledge. We fought some ghosts in a drug den. Normal ghosts incorporeal, they have a weird ability. Their ability is if they touch you, you have to make a save, and if you fail the save, you become addicted to opium.
All right then. Drug... Ghosts.
I don't know why they've made this, but they have a weird ability. Their ability is if they touch you, you have to make a save, and if you fail the save, you become addicted to opium. All right then. Drug. Drug.
Drug.
I don't know why they made this, but Lightning's character got addicted to opium, and which apparently made them able to hit the ghosts better and bypass the incorporeal nature of them. I still don't know why this creature was made, but it's a drug ghost.
Yeah, that's weird. That's very weird.
And I'm pretty sure it only appears in this book and nowhere else.
Drug ghost.
It's a very, very strange creature to have here.
Yeah.
I was afraid to send my dog in because I don't want my dog to get addicted to opium.
That's a statement. Well,
Get rid of it with like a remove curse.
Yeah, it's just removed. We also learned that because addiction is treated as disease in Pathfinder, it means paladins can't become addicted to drugs.
That's funny.
That's funny. Yeah. Sorry, paladins.
So you can just take as many drugs as you want as a paladin, and you'll never have the addiction penalty. I guess.
Is the opioid creature British?
That's actually amusing. To be fair, I think drugs are poisons in 2E, so like they actually.
Yeah, in 1E it's treated as a disease for some reason because it's you remove it by casting remove disease.
So weird.
But also, diseases and poisons follow the same rule in 2E. They're just
it's such a strange thing. Granted, if you do still get the ability, I think whatever the non-bad version of ability damage is in Pathfinder, the one you can just remove with a lesser restoration. I don't remember if it's drain or damage because there's too many terms in this goddamn game.
That's damage for 1E. Drain.
Yeah, you still suffer the initial drug damage from that to your stats.
You don't stream.
But it's just a very silly encounter. I'm trying to remember what else we did. I think we then gambled with a ghost and then put the ghost spirit to rest.
Yeah.
And then we have to go do an underwater portion of the dungeon that literally no one's excited for.
Underwater is usually bad.
We have in our possessions a ring of swimming and a cloak of the manta ray because the AP gave us those.
Underwater.
How's our sorcerer gonna cast underwater? I don't know. That's his problem, not mine. I don't have spells.
That'll go. We'll see how.
He has to make 2 fucking caster level checks to be able to cast a spell under there.
Yeah.
I really don't know why Paizo loves putting underwater combat in their adventure paths.
They never have made it good.
When there's no there's no logical reason for us to have an underwater combat in this adventure path. We're in a metropolis.
Here's the thing, also underwater combat in 1E is absolutely atrocious, and yet they do like to put it there.
That must result in a TPK in the pirate game.
Yeah. Underwater combat sucks.
It's really bad.
Anyway, Wednesday we had my game, which I'm glad we finally got you guys to where we need you to be.
Yep.
That's easy for you to describe.
I finally just decided to go on my own and take the risk since no one else wanted to take the risk. And then I teleported through a door,
nice.
Which is not the first time I did that this week. Or not the last time I did that this week. We'll get to that on Saturday. Yeah. Basically, Tantus had me roll a knowledge check to figure out anything about the door. I critically failed, and I'm like, I don't need to know about the door, and just teleported through it.
You did just teleport through it, which was hilarious and helpful.
Yep. And I was able to question a tree that just knew stuff.
Yeah.
Then we turned around and got actually some information we needed, and now we know we have a sort of game plan to attack get into the tower thing pieces.
Nice.
Yeah.
We need to get a flying vehicle, and so we went and checked out some robots, tried to sneak past them, failed horribly, and then decided to come back with the whole group instead of just 2 people scouting. and then we beat them up.
Yeah.
Or started to. We technically haven't finished.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The combat's basically done at this point in time.
I know. We killed one of them, and then we just have the other one who's like already like a third dead.
Yeah. You did a good job of just beating up everything at this point in time, and it went well. Yeah. So I think the session went pretty good. Like, it was one of these things. It's like nobody wanted to do the straightforward thing. I think we talked about it the other week. And so it's taken me so long to get you guys just to like a place, because it was sort of like, do you want to kind of do this? Do you want to kind of do that? Do you want to kind of do this?
Yeah. So basically, as I once we talked about it, I realized kind of more concisely what was going on. Because like in the moment, I was all like, "Oh, let's do this," and they're like, "Nah, that sounds too risky." And I'm like, "Okay, let's do this." And they're like, and I realized, oh, okay, they just didn't want to do anything risky. And I'm like, that's why I'm like, in the end, I'm like, I'll just do it myself. And it worked out all right.
Yeah.
And it actually gave us literally all the information we needed to form a plan.
I was trying to get people through there, but they were dragging their feet, and you basically got them over the finish line, and I was very happy about that. So at least
I realized I had to do that more as a player than a character.
It was just an unfortunate thing that like the situation just made everybody very cautious, and it was just like, well.
I mean, there was a dragon who was all like, "Don't fuck up," and we're like, okay." And then they basically went all cowardly, and even though I was cowardly too, I'm like, it's not here. We're good.
We're fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah. I've been doing anything on Thursday?
I played Arc Raiders. It's not really a tabletop game, but it's a fun game. Apparently every single rusted gear on the planet has vanished because I can't goddamn find any.
I've been basically like I don't think I've been doing anything gaming off stream in a little bit. I don't have enough time. I do want to kind of stop by and do some things. It's just I guess it's just been playing with people occasionally, like with Joe and Blaze and stuff. Occasionally some games offline. I gotta do this a little bit more. I do think I do. Friday, yesterday. Anybody do anything interesting?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Worm, you had your game earlier today.
Yeah. So we started off by with we went up to like, so everyone all the enemies fled and scattered through doors in their little base after they ambushed us. And then so we beat them back last time, but this time we're like, okay, we need to follow them so they don't run away with all of the loot that they've stolen over, because the whole thing was that they've been ambushing people. So we're like, oh, let's go see if we can't foil their ambush, and we walked right into their ambush. And that almost like that wasn't like, I wouldn't say it was going to end in a TPK, but it wasn't like an impossible thing. Like
things didn't go that well, basically.
Yeah. Anyway, but that was the previous sessions. This session, we finally had them on the back foot. We chased after them. But we realized that right when we ran into there, right when we tried to follow them into their base, like we did take like 2 rounds to prep stuff, but then we're like, the door is locked. And so I just teleported through because I had Dimension Door prepared. And what was really funny is the same turn I did that, though, Darakar, the Minotaur, decided to ram through the door, right as the Finn, the druid, decided to cast like mold earth around the door to loosen it up, and he literally just pancaked the guy who was behind the door. And I was just like, after I teleported through it, I'm like, well, I guess that solves it. I was gonna stab the guy, but whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, then we continued fighting. I literally did nothing the rest of the session because every time I went to again, this is basically the pattern the entire session. I'd walk into a room to do something, someone else would come in and finish it off before I could do anything. I'd go into the next room, then someone else would come in and finish off everything. I'm like, I'm just not doing anything today, am I? Literally every action I rolled was to move. Well, the one thing I did was I did set the web on fire that the person tried to use to block us. But other than that, I did nothing else.
So you did a little, but it's not a lot.
Yeah, basically everything I did was just all like completely negated by something someone else did, like, teleporting through the door to try and get through, and then, oh, I guess, I guess you're just gonna smash it. Setting the web on fire. Oh, I guess you're just gonna turn into a spider and walk across it before I even set it on fire. I mean, I still need to set on fire so I could get through, but...
Well, sounds like some fine adventures. Okay. I would switch the thing again, but again, no keyboard currently. Anyway, and I did, during that time, take off half my keys.
Nice.
So I can clean up this lower area here. So, hey, working on it. Hopefully, that'll be fixed, and I won't worry about it. Escape fell down. I'm gonna escaped. Oh my god.
Oof.
I'll find that in a minute.
I hate it when escapes.
Hi everybody. I hope you have a good rest of your weekend. I'm gonna turn it over to Worm to have his shout.
Okay, I thought you were just doing an actual sign off.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm DiamondWyrm. You can find me on twitch.tv/DiamondWyrm.
I can't shout you
on
out.
Twitter. I'll do it.
How to escape?
Go.
Didn't get far.
I'm a mod, so I can do it even for myself. I'm DiamondWyrm. You can find me on twitch.tv/DiamondWyrm. Or at DiamondWyrm on Twitter and Blue Sky, and DiamondWyrm9234 on YouTube. Next stream will be tomorrow. We'll be back to Hollow Knight.
Ooh, excellent. Very good game. I've almost reached Act 3. That's the way I can say it. But I have been kind of 100%
just reached Act 2.
Act 2 is one of those acts where it just kind of opens up. There is so much to do in that one. It is the largest, I think, of the 3 acts. So, anyway. Hi. Momo, do you have anything to shout out? Actually, I forgot. In case.
No.
Alright. On Mac Tuesday. Tuesday, hopefully, we'll be doing more Silk Song. Hopefully, Tuesday, we'll also get in the PAX Unplugged photo slideshow thing that I've been talking about doing. Just, haven't had a chance to with the week it's been. Yeah. Expect kind of a normal week next week. I don't know what else to say about that, Yeah. Normal week next week. Alright, everybody. I'm gonna be ending the recording here, so have a great rest of your week, and bye.
Bye.